One of the first videos I shot on my YouTube channel was building this assembly table. And for the past few years, it's been just the way it was in that video. It was open on the bottom, it was unfinished, and it served me great. But it seemed to always be cluttered underneath, and I already had all these parts organizers, but I had no place to put them. So over the last few days, I built this organizers. It's got slots for different size part storage on this side, and then on the other side, it is all this size part storage. I've got a little cabinet here where I keep my glue, and I plan on putting some of my other assembly products down in there. If you're interested in how I built the original assembly table, I'll put a link in the description. So stay tuned, and I'll show you how I built these dividers. I'm going to start off by taking my scrap and ripping them down to the right width. In my situation, I chose 9 inches because for the boxes that I have, that gives me enough room to leave the handle sticking out far enough to get a good hold on them. But depending on what boxes you're using, you may have to adjust that. The next step is to cut the 6 vertical dividers. Now, in order to get accurate and repeatable results, I've got my crosscut sled set up with a shortened fence. So I'm ready now to cut grooves in my vertical dividers to hold the horizontal dividers. I've set up my dado stack in the table saw. I use the Fruit 8-inch dado stack. I think it's one of the best dado stacks you can get for the money. I'll put a link in the description and in the comments. Again, I've had nothing but good results out of it. Some of the cheaper systems have just not worked that well. Once I get it set for the first groove, I'll cut the groove, turn it, and cut the next one. And then I'll keep on doing that until I get to the center grooves. Now in the next step, I'm going to be cutting pocket holes in the sides of the cabinet. Now you can use your drill along with a Craig jig that you can pick up at any home store, but I'm going to use my homemade pocket cutter. Now I'll put a link in the description to the video for this, and I'll try to tag it on the screen if I can. I'll also put my email address in the description as well. If you want to get on the waiting list for plans for this, just shoot me an email and I'll put you on that list because they should be available soon. For the center vertical dividers, I'm going to space them out based on the measurements for my boxes. 15 inches for the 2 wider boxes and 8.5 inches for the smaller boxes. I'll tack them in place with my finish nailer and then come back from the top and bottom with screws. I cut a piece of hardboard to the dimensions of the back. Now I'll attach it with staples, and this will help square up the cabinet. I've cut out some dividers. I went ahead and sanded the edges. Now I just got to put them in. Now it's time to install it into the table. So since I left off, I went ahead and closed in the ends of the table and built another side of organizers. Now I'm gathering up all of my scrap pine, and I'm going to try to trim out the fronts of these, try to make them look just a little bit nicer.
I'm just sitting here, I got time, it's clear to see from up here, the world seems small.
Well, I've got it all trimmed out on both sides and ready to paint. I even made the door real quick. I didn't video this, but I'll post a link in the description to a video of how to make a cabinet door. Now it's just time to paint.
In the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell to be